13 scariest abandoned places in the world. Number 13, Doll Factory. Very little is known about this abandoned doll factory in Spain, which only adds to its unsettling and creepy nature. The three-story building seemed to have been ditched mid-production decades ago, as half-made dolls and equipment lie haphazardly all over the place. An urban explorer recently photographed the spot and took a doll head home with him, only to return it days later as it spooked him out too much. The same person also found sacrificial chickens, which appeared to have been used in some sort of ritual. You would be hard-pressed to find a better place to dare someone to spend the night. Number 12, Spreepark. At the time of its opening in 1969, Spreepark was the only amusement park in East Berlin, which was under Soviet rule. When the Berlin Wall fell, the park was purchased by Norbert Witt, a man with quite a story. The carnival operator had crashed a crane into a carousel while trying to repair a roller coaster in 1981, causing 7 fatalities in Germany's worst carnival disaster ever. Despite his efforts to bring Spreepark up to Western European standards, visitor numbers dwindled until the park was finally forced to close on November 4, 2001. Witt would go on to be bailed in 2003 for attempting to smuggle 181 kilos of cocaine in the mast of the flying carpet ride. The abandoned park now serves as a spooky reminder of the past. Number 11, MIRNY Diamond Mine. Stalin started construction on this giant hole, the second largest man-made hole on the planet, to satisfy the USSR's need for industrial diamond. The mine played a huge hand in transforming the Soviet Union into a global superpower following World War II. Located in eastern Siberia, the hole is 1,772 feet deep and nearly a mile across. The vortex that it creates is so strong that helicopters are not allowed to fly over it for fear that they will be sucked into its depths, though luckily no accidents have been reported. Digging deeper and deeper became increasingly difficult until operations were finally ceased in 2004. Number 10, Yugyong Hotel. This hotel in North Korea has become a symbol of the turbulence of the nation in which it lies. Construction started on the 105-story skyscraper in 1987, but was stopped after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1992. For years, the building stood without any windows or interior until construction resumed in 2008. The exterior of the structure was finally finished in 2011. While the building was supposed to be open as a hotel in 2012 and again in 2013, this did not happen, and as of today, the building remains closed. Foreign guests say that large portions of the interior remain abandoned and unfinished. Number 9, ANIVA Rock Lighthouse. Japan built this lighthouse off the southern coast of Sakhalin Island in 1939. For years, the Russians and Japanese fought for control of the island until they finally agreed to split it. The Russians annexed the entire area during World War II and used it as a Penal island. The lighthouse, along with the island, now lies completely uninhabited. Rumors claim that the island contains a dangerous level of radiation, though there is no concrete evidence to confirm this claim. Number 8, CHATEAU Miranda. This location has become a favorite for ghost hunters thanks to its history and haunting appearance. The stunning castle was built by English architect Edward Milner in the mid-1800s. The castle served as the summer home of the Littered de Beaufort family. German troops briefly occupied the castle during World War II. Starting in 1950, the castle was used as a holiday camp for sick kids. Owners began looking for investors to transform the chateau into a hotel, but these plans failed and the castle was abandoned in 1991. Since then, the castle has fallen into despair and has been damaged by fire, storm, and looters. Owners have been seeking permission to demolish the castle in recent years, a request which has routinely met resistance. Number 7, Glenwood Power Plant. Looking creepy enough to be used as a filming location for horror movies, this power plant has been abandoned since its closure in 1963. The plant was built to provide electricity for the New York Central Railroad tracks and became operational in 1906. The structure was abandoned for 50 years and today is littered with graffiti and almost completely empty. Recently, the Goren Group started a project to convert the building into an arts-focused events complex that will include a hotel, restaurants, and a marina. Number 6, Oradour-sur-Glane. Technically, this village was never abandoned. The inhabitants of the town were slaughtered on June 10, 1944, when a Nazi company massacred 642 of its residents, including 247 women and 205 children. French President Charles de Gaulle ordered the village to be maintained in its original state as a permanent memorial and historical site after the war. Today, the village endures as a popular tourist site, with many people claiming to see ghostly figures roaming the vacant streets late at night. Number 5, Florida Dome Homes. Once upon a time, these dome homes were the self-sustaining, state-of-the-art dwellings of an oil tycoon. Today, they lie abandoned and run down, a mere shell of their former greatness. Oil producer Bob Lee built the futuristic homes as a vacation spot on Cape Romano for his family in the 1980s. The problem with Florida beachfront property is that it can be susceptible to hurricanes, which often plague the area. The dome homes were severely damaged several times, and after requests to build a seawall were denied, the property was ultimately abandoned. Number 4. Port Arthur. Said to be one of the most haunted places in Australia, Port Arthur in Tasmania has seen plenty of tragedy and death in its time. The port was a penal colony in the mid-1800s and was home to some of the hardest British criminals and had some of the strictest security measures in the British penal system. Much like Alcatraz Island, it was often billed as an inescapable prison. In 1996, 28-year-old Martin Bryant went on a killing spree in the small town in which 35 people died, making it the worst mass murder in the country's post-colonial history. This event led to a severe crackdown on firearms throughout the nation, in which 640,000 weapons were turned into authorities. Number 3. The Bhangarh Fort. Often dubbed the most haunted place in India, this 17th century fort is completely ruined today. There are many myths about the place that have added to its haunted reputation. According to the legend, a wizard is said to have cursed the fort and everyone in it after being rejected by a princess with whom he had fallen in love. The curse endures to this day, and there are plenty of people who have reportedly had contact with ghosts or felt evil spirits when visiting the area. Number 2. WILLARD Asylum. This hospital opened in 1869 as a WILLARD Asylum for the chronic insane in New York. The first patient was a woman named Mary Rote, who had spent the previous 10 years of her life chained up in a room. The asylum helped improve her condition, and by 1890, the hospital had over 2,000 patients. By this time, the location had become completely self-sufficient. Patients grew their own food and tended to their own medical needs. There were even a morgue, a cemetery, and a bowling alley on site. A huge push for deinstitutionalization occurred throughout the country in the 1990s, leading the asylum's closure in 1995. Over half of the 50,000 or so patients who called WILLARD Asylum their home almost died there. Since the asylum closed its doors, it has become widely recognized as a haunted location. Number 1. Pripyat. The infamous Chernobyl disaster of 1986 left an entire city, which once had a population of nearly 50,000, completely abandoned. Thanks to the high amounts of radiation that escaped during the terrifying event, the land is sure to remain untouched for hundreds of years. Chernobyl was the worst nuclear accident in history. While 2 human deaths occurred during the actual event, hundreds of thousands of people and animals in the area are thought to have been affected detrimentally by the high amounts of radiation exposure that the accident caused.